Hi, folks. This is Roy Hall here, and you won't believe what happened tonight. After two tries, we got things working, and technology is our slave, at least tonight for now, for the next 20 minutes, I hope, or 30 minutes. But anyway, I have Kathleen O'Keefe-Kavanos. You know, Hall is such an easier name to say. I don't know why people come up with these hard names, but
I know it
Kathleen's
sounds Greek
parents.
to you, right?
Yeah.
It is.
Anyway, we've been talking back and forth for a couple of weeks or a month, and I'm excited to find out more about her, and I think you're going to be really excited. So, Kathleen, why don't you come on and tell us all about yourself?
Well, thank you so much. Yes, we've been trying to do this for a while, and I'm so excited that we finally have. And my name is Kathleen O'Keefe-Kavanos, and yes, it may sound like Greek to many of you, and that's because it is. I married a Greek. And I am a three-time breast cancer survivor whose dreams diagnosed the illness that my doctors and the medical community and the tests on which they relied missed. I did work with my doctors. I did take conventional chemotherapy and radiation, but I mixed it with holistic medicine and dreams, prayers, and meditation. And I'm happy to say I'm still here with you 10
Nice.
and 15 years later.
You know, I think when people combine everything, they do much, much better, and I've been doing that for about almost 20 years now. And
hmm
so I'm excited. You did traditional therapy with all three instances of the cancer?
I did. I did chemotherapy, I did radiation therapy, and then I mixed that with changing my diet to being completely organic because my cancers were all hormone receptive. And I really believe that one of the reasons why cancer is on the rise, especially for women, is because of all the growth hormones that are in our food. So I only eat organic food, organic chicken, organic beef, occasionally a lot of fish. I don't do farm-raised fish because although they say it's organic, they give them a lot of antibiotics and growth hormones again because, you know, the less time they spend raising something and the sooner they can get it to market, the more money they make. And unfortunately, a lot of what makes our world go round is the, cha-ching.
Yeah. I the mother of my kids' father was a dairy farmer, or is a dairy farmer in Wisconsin, and we talked once, and I was saying, you know, the girls growing up now, their breasts are much bigger than when I was in school back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and we finally decided it's all the hormones they're feeding the cattle that's making things change a lot. So not only breast size, I think, but the risk of cancer is getting a lot worse. I agree, yeah. Now, how did you fall into the holistic components? Were you hiding that beforehand, or?
No, I really wasn't. And by the way, this is Callisto, my Siamese cat. She wanted to come up and say hi to you and see what you were doing, and she would not be ignored, so I figured I'd make her part of the program. I'm
Good.
going to put you down.
Okay.
I wasn't into holistic before because I didn't really, it wasn't a part of my life. Cancer wasn't a part of my life. Worrying about illness wasn't a part of my life. Before cancer, I call it BC and AD, just like Christianity before Christ and after death. BC, before cancer, I played tennis every day and I went out with my girlfriends and I flew here, I flew there, I had lunch in one state and came back home for dinner in my own state, which is basically what I did today. That's why we were a little late getting started because I had a class after I flew around to Connecticut and a couple of other states like New Jersey before I got back. But I never had any concerns about cancer or illness. I was so healthy. And so when I started having these dreams that I had cancer after my doctors told me I was healthy and to go home after having mammograms, blood tests, and physicals, I realized that it wasn't my lifestyle that was creating the cancer. I had no concerns. My husband takes such great care of me. He spoils me rotten. I mean, I'm so lucky. It was actually, I believe, a combination of two things. Stress, because my mother had died 6 months before I was diagnosed, and it was like having lost a child, because I am an only child, and in a way, many of us raise our parents, especially this generation, because we're so technology oriented and our parents are not. So the death of my mother, and then I believe our food sources having so many hormones in them, I believe created the cancer. And so fortunately, I was healthy enough to actually overcome that. And my spirit guides who came into my dreams and said, you know, you've got to get through this and you've got to teach others how to do it, was one of the reasons why I didn't give up, because I really did consider suicide.
Wow. Interesting and powerful. Uh,
Well,
you
you
know
know,
about
we're hearing about how Robin Williams, you know, committed suicide because of
yeah,
depression. And when women are told that they have breast cancer, it's stage 4, it's terminal, the first thing that comes into your mind is, do I want to live with the suffering? Just like Robin Williams did. He didn't want to suffer anymore. And so he took his life. And so I'm here to tell all women, you know, being in pain is human. Suffering is a choice. And you can get through this. And you've got a whole sisterhood of other women out there to help you. You're not alone.
yeah. You know, I kind of fell in the holistic part. I've been practicing 37 years, and I think 10 years into it, I got to looking at my patients, and the ones that had easy cancers did good and bad, and ones had hard cancers that did good and bad. And
Mm-hmm.
the common connection I found in my analysis was those who did more than just get the chemotherapy or the radiation therapy, who incorporated other things into the program. They tended to do a lot better than the other people, and their quality of life was much better. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I believe in that, and I really, really believe that dreams are the doorways to our roots. Dreams connect us with our extended family on the other side, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, our aunts and uncles, our great aunts and uncles, siblings that would have been, had there been, you know, fertilization, the could have beens. We connect with all of those through doors called the dream doors. And when we're in crisis, our dreams can diagnose our life. And our dreams can tell us what's not working, because actually our dreams are a microcosm of our life. And so in my case, my dreams told me that I had cancer, breast cancer, when my doctors were telling me that I was healthy and to go home. And actually the pathology reports validated the dream. So how is that possible? I mean, how is that possible if we don't have a connection through those magical doors?
Yeah. Now, you have some programs to help people get through that or to get in touch with their dreams, do you not?
I do. I have a basic dream 101 program, and it's on my website, and it has a pretest so that you can find out exactly where you are on the dream GPS, connecting with your inner guidance, and then I take you through how to connect with your dreams. It's actually MP3s, and you work at your own pace, and you connect with your inner guides. And I have everything you need on there in order to help you live a better, happier, healthier, more prosperous life. That's what we're here for. We're not here to suffer. You know, people say, oh, well, how much have you suffered? I'm like, I'm not here to suffer. I don't want to suffer. I want to party. I want to have a really, really good time, because we're here such a short period of time, and we have so much to do. So let's do it and be happy while we do it. So, you know, that's exactly what I'm trying to teach other people to do. And I'm certainly not doing it to become a wealthy person on a basic Dream 101 course. I'm doing it so that people will invest their time and money and actually have some skin in what they're learning, and then they'll apply it in their daily life.
Well,
When
that
you
makes.
give people
Go
stuff
ahead.
for free, they don't always really respect it. They don't think it's worth anything.
Yeah. I always tell my patients that we all have that inner physician within us that knows what it is we're supposed to do to get well. And that would, the answer to that would be from your dream work that you're talking about. Where's that inner physician coming from? Or
Well, I actually met my inner physician in one of the dreams. It's called The Three Crabs, and it's in my book, Surviving Cancerland, The Intuitive Aspects of Healing. I met my physician within the dream. She walked out of a door into the room I was standing in. She held out her hand and she said, "Hi, my name is Dr. Jules. I'm your physician within." And then the three crabs went running across the floor and she yelled, "Catch those." And guess what? I did. I had 3 cancers, which the doctors missed, and I contained them in a container, and I'm here talking to you about it now.
yeah, fascinating. How long ago was your last recurrence?
10 years ago.
And did you tell your medical team, your regular oncologist, about the other oncologist working with you?
Well, that's a really good question. Actually, I didn't, because I did want treatment. I didn't want a padded room or pharmaceuticals to stop my dreams.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. I have signed copies that I'm going to personally deliver to all of them. And the next time we have another show, I'll tell you what happens, okay?
Okay. With my patients, we've done a lot of nutrition work and supplements and things that I really think help. And I've told them, this is my advice to you, and I know your other doctors have told you not to do it. You go home, decide what you want to do, and if you're not taking my advice, don't tell me that. And if you're not taking their advice but taking mine against their opinion, don't tell them what you're doing. So you kind of have to do some things to protect your own plan at times.
Oh, you are so right, because remember, we have to remember our doctors are doing their job because they love their patients and they love their work. And to a degree, their hands are tied by hospital policy, and hospital policy is not human,
Yeah.
and it's there to ensure that the hospital is successful in funding itself so it can continue. So, that's important also. And sometimes, you just have to take the advice you are given by everyone in the world with a grain of salt, and you thank them for that advice, and then you decide what's going to work for you, because in the end, you have to make a decision that you can not only live with, but you can die with. And that's a scary thought for some people, but the truth of the matter is there is nobody on this earth that's going to live forever. No one. So we have to embrace that. And I found that as soon as I embraced death and made a friend out of death, because I really did think I was going to die the second time, I really, really did. And as soon as I made a friend out of death and said, okay, God, thy will be done. If you want to take me, I'm ready to go. I'm going to party till my last breath, just so you know. All of a sudden, I wasn't afraid of dying, because I realized I was going to be doing something again that I've done many times before. And all of the people I loved have gone before me.
Oh.
So it was okay.
Yeah, it is okay. And everybody has their own path to getting well. And I was taught you trust your oncologist to be a good oncologist, which means he's going to give the chemo drugs like he's supposed to. You're going to trust the nutritionist to help you with nutrition. But trust everybody to do what they do well, but add to your team and bring on other members. And that sounds like what you've done, too.
It is. And I remember when the first time I was diagnosed with the cancer after the pathology report, because the doctors kept telling me I was healthy and to go home, when I found out through pathology that I did have breast cancer, I called a doctor in California. Now, these were my Boston doctors. I called a doctor in California for a second opinion, and I believe second opinions and third opinions save lives. Yeah. And he told me that he had a CSRA test, and this specific test actually takes a piece of the tumor, puts it in a petri dish, grows it, bombards it with all the chemotherapies that are available, and finds the one that works for you. And I said, well, that's just logical. I want that. So actually, when I had to have the tumor removed and a piece of that was sent to him, he found that only one chemotherapy worked, although my doctors, working with me and doing the best they could, gave me a choice of 3 chemotherapies. If I had chosen the other 2, I wouldn't be talking to you today because they would not have worked.
Yeah.
So, there are so many things available to us, and even our doctors don't even know them. So it's so important to be an e-patient, and it's so important to go out and find those books of success stories, because we hear so many failures on the news. We don't focus on those. Go out and find the success stories. Find the books, the radio interviews, the TV interviews like this one of success, and that's what you want to focus on, and that's what you want to find out about, and read it before you need it. Because then you're in crisis, and you're not always open to receiving information. You're in a state where you can't even receive information. You can't hear anymore. You can't see. You're in shock.
I agree. The patients who take charge of their team and lead things, I also do the best. And that doesn't mean you know all the chemotherapy ins or outs of the different protocols, but like you said, no doctor can know everything all the time, and doctors will forget things, overlook things, and it's important to that patient to say, hey, doc, what about this? I read about that. And if that doctor throws that information out, then I suggest maybe finding a new person to work with, because both parties have to be willing to listen to each other. Yeah.
It doesn't mean you don't care about your doctor. It just means that maybe in this situation, you may need a different doctor to help you with a different idea, and that's okay. You're not sending your doctor out into outer space because he's so upset. Go find what works for you, because in the end you have to live with yourself.
Yeah. Good news. We only got a couple of minutes left. You want to tell people how to get a hold of you or how to find out more about you?
Certainly. My website is www.survivingcancerland.com, just like Alice in Wonderland, because when you're going through treatment, hey, you are in Wonderland. So that's for you, those of you who are involved, either yourselves or your family, with cancer. For those of you who are more involved in dreams, go to www.accessyourinnerguide.com, and I have a free gift for you on both of those websites. If you look on the right, there is a free download for you on 7 ways to access, activate, and awaken your inner guide.
Nice. And just because it's current, I saw on one of your blog sites that article about Robin Williams and his death this past week.
Yeah, I mean, Nanu, it broke my heart, that happened. And, I also wanted to tell everybody that Surviving Cancerland, The Intuitive Aspects of Healing, my book, just became an international bestseller. So if you get a chance, check it out.
Damn. Nice.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked. Happily shocked.
Now, last thing, you mentioned going and eating lunch in different states or whatnot a while ago.
I did.
And kind of bragging about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between living on the East Coast and living here in Montana.
Oh, Montana's gorgeous.
But I had a patient in this morning, and I'm from Texas, and I was telling him the similarities between Texans and Montanans, and he says, there's a story about a Montana rancher and a Texas rancher, and the Texas rancher started bragging, saying, my ranch is so big, if you come down to Texas, we can get my pickup, and we can sit in it all day long, you'll never see the far side of my ranch. The Montana rancher said, I used to have a pickup like that too, but I bought a new one. Size is relative to a lot of things, I think.
Oh, that's good. I love that. Montana's beautiful. You know, I was born and raised in the military, and I was on Fort Devens. I lived in Fort Devens, Massachusetts, and they all moved out there to Montana with you.
Okay, well, yeah, it's heaven out here. I've been here about 10 years and love it.
Looks like Germany. When I was out there, I said, "Oh my gosh, I'm back in Bad Tolz in Bavaria."
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
Well, listen, let me sign off and stay online and let's talk another few minutes because it's the time is up here. So
Okay.
people, again, you don't know how hard we've worked now for about 6 weeks getting this thing going, and we had some sense of panic this afternoon. She married a Greek, my wife married a geek, and together the two of us got this thing going. So I'm really happy about this, and I think we're going to run into each other. So what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm going to have her websites up on the video, and you can find that on YouTube, so you can go and find her sites easy. Go to her sites, look up her book, get her book, Surviving Cancer Land, and get to know this lady. You're going to get some really good things out of her. And so
Hmm.
thanks once again, Kathleen, and I'm going to hang up.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Oh, and tell the cat goodbye.
I will. She went in to eat.